So everybody got a handout, right? The first box there, our welcome today, is to go around the table and everybody complete this sentence. The best thing about break was, so just take turns and go around the table and everybody say their sentence. Best thing about break. Everybody good? Okay, so we thought about ourselves, that's good. Now I want you to think about your students, especially our new teachers, and it'll be interesting for our experienced teachers to hear from our new teachers what you're noticing about your students when they came back from break. And specifically, what kind of things seem to stick with them over break, and what kinds of things did you have to revisit when they came back to you after break? So just at your tables, talk about that for a minute. What are you noticing about the kids? What stuck with them? What do they need to revisit? And just anything you're noticing.
So I make them talk and tell me what an example is specific, because so they can start really understanding instead of just saying, and I memorize it.
One of the rules at the guidelines for success at a campus was I will be responsible and respectful. And one day the line of students was walking through the library, and we were this group of adults, and we're all looking at our paper, and basically we just busted up through the line of kids, right? And so this child stopped, and I noticed that he had let us walk through. I didn't notice till I got through, but the teacher went to him and said, that was responsible and respectful. It was responsible because you stopped and didn't run into the adult, and it was respectful because you let them go. And I thought, what a good picture that painted in his head of very abstract concepts of responsibility and respect. There's a lot of adults that have a hard time with those concepts. But yeah, when you can paint a picture, give them that example, that abstract thing, I think it really helps sort of solidify it for them in their head.
And I think the other thing for you as an electives teacher, and although this year is really difficult for you because you see all those kids, as the years go by, it's easier for you because that second grader now knows what to expect of you as a third grader and then as a fourth grader. So the beauty for you is over time, that'll become much easier for you.
Yeah, and I love it when they now, at the beginning, when they didn't know me very well, they just they came a little angry. I don't know why. They were like,
They're a little scared.
But now I feel like they are feeling a little more comfortable with me. And when I see them in the corner, it's like, oh, that makes me so happy. When they're happy, they say like that. And they just feel like more connection with them.
At the beginning, they're like, art, and I guess they didn't know her really well. And now
it's difficult to get to know all those kids because
they're
there's so
getting
many
to know me, and they know that when I tell them something, like that they have to do this or that, it's not because I don't care about them. It's just that I want them to do their job, and I want them to, be the best they can be. So they know now that I care for it. That's one thing that's huge.
I hadn't thought about how the elective teachers get to kind of see them grow.
Yeah.
Well, one would think it gets easier, but
I'm not really
easier every year.
Easier might not be.
But it is
They know that your procedures.
It is nice because, you see tremendous growth with kids, over the 5 years especially. Like some of our little people,
Over 5 years.
they're still having issues, but nothing like they did. And that's really, that's a really lucky place to be. To
It
see
really
how
is.
much they grow.
And what's neat about your position too is that you get to see or maybe find their different talents.
Yeah.
Like I might not know that little Sally Sue here can sing, but you'll take notice of that. And then oh, she's the lead in this program for us or whatever.
And those are the things that keeps the kids in school.
The most,
With math,
the electives.
reading are too hard. Yeah.
That's certainly what brings them to high school.
Good.
Exactly. Something that I can move in.
Yeah,
When
that's
we,
true too.
I tutored a group of 9th grade boys, and when we came in, for tutoring, I'd always say, so what happened today? Not once did one of those 8 little boys tell me something that happened in the classroom. It was what happened in the hall, what happened in the cafeteria. That's what's kind of stuck with them when they were active and moving. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about ourselves, we've talked about our students. Now let's remember those videos that we made. If you remember, in chapter, was it 4, Patricia? That it had all those different ideas of what you could videotape and look for. Had all those charts and things like that. Now, so the first video was specifically ratios of interactions, and we all did the same thing. The second video, you could make a choice there. So, some of you may have chosen the same thing, some of you may have chosen something different. I just want you to talk about at your table under the classroom video box there. What did you choose? How did it go? And what did you learn? So just talk about the last video that you made. And, it doesn't, whatever the topic was, talk about that first. Talk about how it went and what did you notice from your video. So just take turns going around the table talking about it. All right, so we talked about our video, the second video that we did the first video, we've done the second video. Now what I want you to do is, for the third video, I want you to replicate one of those two. So either you're going to count ratios of interactions again, or whatever you did for the second time. And don't worry if you did ratios of interactions each time, do it again. Because remember, that ratio of positive interactions is the easiest thing to do to get the best change in classroom management in your class. So if you worked on that twice, it's worthwhile to work on it a third time. But what I want you to do first, before you do that video, when it says next classroom video, it says think about the 2 videos that you made, select the topic for your next video, write it right down here on this, right there on that flow map. The topic of your next video will be either interactions or whatever else you did. Either ratios of interactions or the other thing that you did. So make a decision right now. Because what I'm going to ask you to do is grab a sheet of paper from the middle of the table, and I'm going to ask you to make a circle map. And let's say the second time you did, let's see what we've got in here. What types of questions am I asking? And you want to do that again. What I want you to do in your circle map is write down everything you remember from your first video. So whether the first video of what you want to do the second time. Does that make any sense at all? So here's an example. I did ratios of interactions the first time. I did types of questions the second time. I've decided I want to do ratios of interactions again, so on my circle map right now, I'm going to write down everything I remember from my ratios of interactions video. So whatever you want to do this third time, write down what you remember from the first time you did that video.
The good, the bad,
Wow,
and the
that's,
ugly.
yes, everything you can possibly remember. From any minute detail to like even big ideas. What did you remember from it? And just go ahead and spend some time filling in that map with as many memories as you can pull up today. Did I remember that?
Normally you don't put it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to just pull up in cold like that. Like I didn't tell you to think about it or anything. It's just like write it down. Sometimes you draw a blank. And put a frame around your map and put your name in the frame. And we're going to keep these. And between now and February 4th, you're going to make your second video. Third video, yes. This numbering the videos is difficult for me.
Yes.
You're going to make another video about the same topic here. And what we're going to ask you to do when you come back next time is a circle map of your most recent video. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare these two circle maps, because what we want you to do is see some growth. We want you to see some change in whatever it is that you have chosen to work on. And just so you know, Kathleen's working on being less boring.
I don't think you're boring. I don't
But that's what we'd like you to do between now and then, is to make that. And I just wanted to, I don't think this table got to hear me say, I asked the folks in my specialist academy, we have an academy that we run every year. It meets once a month, and it's people who are interested in being a specialist. And so they come and we do some work with coaching, with protocols, using things like that. But these are, for the most part, very experienced teachers. And I've asked them to do exactly what you've been doing this year, and they have had some eye-opening experiences. And what I want to do is I want to bring those, I'm going to take their names off of them, but I want to show you what their thoughts have been. Just little things like, this one teacher said, I knew that because I was videotaping myself, my lesson would be perfect. Well, it wasn't. And I can't believe one of the sets of instructions I gave, the children just stared at me. And I thought they were crazy. And then I watched the video. Those were bad instructions. So I think they've been very surprised, and they've all really enjoyed the process and gotten something out of it. And one teacher said she cried when she saw it because she didn't have a happy face when she talked to her students, and she felt bad about it. Now, that may be a little overboard, but certainly at the high school level, which some of them are, it's that affect that you give the students can create a problem or fix a problem, and it can happen just like that. So she said, I could not believe, and here's what she did. She gave her cell phone to another student and said, I'm going to go around and talk to the students, and I just want you to videotape me. So the student walked around and she was talking to the students. She said she could not believe how her tone of voice and her face changed from student to student. She said, I can't let my feelings be so transparent to them. And the student that is your biggest problem is the one who needs you the most, usually. That's just the way it goes. It's really usually just a call for attention, and they don't know how to get it appropriately. So anyway, we'll bring those back next time, and if you'll just leave your name tag and your circle map on the table, we will pick those up and we will bring them back to you next time on February 4th. And again, thank you so much for coming back after break.